Hi, this is John Scott Dixon, marketing on the run. I've been running about a half mile, trying to do about 4 miles today, but it's 106 degrees here, so that should be good enough. It's about 6:05, heading into the desert finally. I wanted to just frame the topic. This is a fairly complex one, so I think I can get it done in a single take, but I may have to stitch some of it together. See, I'm already messing up. Stitch some of it together just so it's coherent and makes sense. The topic is going to be semantic marketing. You're going to see quite a few of these based on that topic from me. That's where we focus our company, Semanticator. If you want to learn more about it, http://Semanticator, SEMANTICATOR.com, and we'll talk about what we're doing in the semantic marketing space. But anyway, so that's just kind of a preface. I may pause here. I may struggle with how to phrase things, so I may have to stitch this together, but we'll see. Okay, so here we go. The first thing I ought to do is just frame why would we call it semantic marketing in the first place, and it's because we're focusing on the semantic nature of the web and where it's going. It's not there yet. Semantic, the word, simply means meaning. And, if you want to play semantics, it can mean context, it can mean relevancy. So anyway, bring that all together, and what we're trying to have happen out there with the World Wide Web Consortium, the W3C, and these are the heavy-duty brainiacs. I like to describe them as, if you've watched The Matrix, they're the people that are saying words like ergo, vis-a-vis, concordantly, and definitely beyond my brain's capability. But I can track some of what they're saying, and of course, they may have difficulty following me into the marketing space, so it's okay. Goodbye. So with the semantic web, what it comes down to are these things called ontologies. Ontology simply means a method or science of describing objects and their relationships to each other. So I'll give you an example of that. Fender Guitar Company Fender is here in Phoenix, and they make guitars, electric guitars, acoustic guitars, bass guitars, amplifiers for guitars, and a few other things here and there from merchandise to whatever. So for them to create an ontology makes a lot of sense. Now remember, you not only have to create it in English, but in whatever languages you think may make sense for your product service. So let's say they create an ontology, and when you're looking at the electric guitar for Fender, they have several models. I happen to have a 1972 Fender Stratocaster, which I love. I think it's a great guitar, one of the best guitars ever made, especially the way the action is, the way the neck feels. But they made a thing called a Jaguar. They don't make it anymore. At least I don't think they do. Correct me if I'm wrong. They make a Telecaster, still pretty popular today. Anyway, so that's a sampling of the electric guitar models made by Fender. Well, if they created that ontology and put it into play on their website, and the semantic web were fully operable, what would happen is, let's say I have a blog talking about music, and I mention that I think my Stratocaster is the best guitar ever. I don't need to say the word electric. I don't need to say Fender, just Stratocaster and guitar, or really just Stratocaster. Now, if somebody was searching, try not to blind you with the sun, I recognize it's right there. If somebody was searching for best electric guitar ever, they might, today, my blog probably wouldn't show up because electric guitar, electric's not in there. so it probably wouldn't show up. If they search for best fender electric, then I wouldn't show up at all, right? So I didn't mention those. But with the ontology setup, the system will be smart enough to know that, oh, he mentioned Stratocaster. Stratocaster, as defined by Fender, is a class of electric guitar. Is an object within electric guitars, the class by Fender. So it will bring it in as a result set. Here, what I'm trying to get at is the semantic web is going to be about making it easier to find what you're interested in or looking for. Or when you arrive at a web page, it's more about what you're interested in and less about what you're not, because the web is going to start to understand your context, what you look at, what you avoid, and make sense out of you. And you're going to tell it some things too, probably, the way your browser is going to behave. But that's not today. So I'm going to direct you to a guy named Alex Iskold, and I am so sorry if I'm mispronouncing this. Iskold, and Alex is his first name. He writes on a thing called Read Write Web, which is a collection of bloggers, best way to describe it probably, in kind of a magazine format. Definitely, if you're into technology and into the web, you should be reading Read Write Web. ReadWriteweb.com. So Alex wrote, probably a year ago, that the semantic web, for it to really take shape and begin to grow, it's going to require entrepreneurs to dig in at what he's calling a top-down approach. So recognizing that the bottom-up, the thing that the WWC guys are working on, may not occur for a while. What components of the semantic web are available today that could be utilized to bring some of that promise to life, the promise of being able to find what you're after quickly without a whole lot of effort. So I'm going to pause here this way usually where I grab my drink. I'll show you a little bit of the view.